Welcome and welcome back, guys, to my YouTube channel. This is Utando. Thank you so much for joining me yet again today. It's so hot. It's so hot. Yo. I basically want to speak to you guys about good behavior, right? And how that impacts your life and what the cons of good behavior are. And I would like to say that the whole thing is a con, the whole thing is a bad thing, because it's you keeping up an appearance of you having good behavior, but actually innately you don't have that feeling. You don't have that feeling of I'm a good person, but you have to keep up the appearance of I'm a good person, and it is a narcissistic trait. So yeah, let's just run through all of the points that I do have for you guys today. And it's basically that, and also just how you can align this truth or this reality to the word of God, and also how God has been helping me actually to get past that. First point, you have a high moral compass but you have low morals. So you have this moral compass of, okay, I'm gonna keep up the appearance of I'm just so innocent, and I am, I don't have anything bad about me. Everything about me is good, and everything about me is so prim and proper and perfect, right? Good behavior can also fall into it being a performance thing. I can't really find the words for it. Being a performer, being a person that will continuously perform for people's approval, and it does definitely stem from a childhood thing, or from some sort of trauma that makes you feel like you need to keep up an appearance and you need to be, constantly seeking for people's approval, right? And it took me a while to actually break off of this. It took me a really long time. Yeah, that was the first point. It's just you have a very high moral compass. So for example, this whole thing of sex before marriage, a well-behaved person will definitely have those same beliefs of I will never have sex before marriage, especially if you grew up in the church, right? Or you grew up with a very strong religious teaching of this is the status quo and you need to follow it, right? So now that I'm in Christ's freedom, I know that, okay, yes, sex before marriage is wrong, but it's not really for me to judge anyone else that has done that. It's been drilled into me to believe it, but from my heart I never really believed that, you know what I mean? And once you do believe something, there's a difference between knowing something and believing something. So I may know about no sex before marriage, but then I only know about it. I don't actually believe in that, because in my day-to-day, in my thought process, I don't think about that. Yeah, so law of society. This is a societal law, and the societal law for anyone would be to mask yourself. It's basically to be anything than what you are. So you'd be showing up as this person that is not actually you. You'd be showing up as the survival you, the survival mode of who you actually are. So it doesn't necessarily have to only be good behavior. It could be anything that you've been taught, but it's not something that you innately believe, you know what I mean? So if, let's just say, your guardians or your parents were rude people, you actually end up to be a rude person. That would still be, in a way, kind of trying to seek people's approval. I guess in society, it's good for you to be rude, it's good for you to be edgy, it's good for you to be cold-hearted, and there is no space for love, there is no space for compassion, there is no space for just being who you truly and genuinely are when you're alone. Because in society you have to show up as this hardened version of yourself, and my hardened version and my survival version was to be well behaved. It was to be just this very structured person. And I swear so many people that I've actually come across have always said yo Tendo, you look like you have your life in order, and I'm oh yes, I wish you knew. I literally wish you knew. Basically what they're saying is you keep up the appearance so well, and to me, I've been trained to do that. I've been trained to have this poker face. We're living in a world that constantly is trying to change us in one way or the other, and it's mind control. Because when you think about it, okay, you want to be the best version of yourself, but then they're not actually telling you what to do to be the best version of yourself. They keep on saying, oh, you need to just work out, or you just need to make a bunch of money. But I feel you do need those fundamental teachings of what it actually is to be the best version of yourself. And the best version of yourself would to actually be you becoming who you initially were before you were formed in the womb. You were known and God knew you, right? And from that's basically the person that you are actually becoming. The more you do elevate and go higher with God, though, if you are doing it in the world's way, you will continuously see something that's wrong with you and then just instantly want to change that. So like that whole thing of like, okay, I'm gonna just work out in the gym and then all of my problems are gonna go away, or I'm just gonna make like $15 million and everything is gonna just fade away and everything's gonna be perfect, because everything has to be perfect, right? Like if you go in your elevation with that mentality, I don't think you will reach the actual goal that you need to reach and like those actual heights that you need to reach, because change has to be from the inside out, and not just from the outside. I digress. Okay, so so you're silenced. One thing about it, you are silenced because you can't share your actual feelings. You can't share what you actually feel inside. You can't share your frustration. Neither can you share the fact that you are depressed, because I was actually quite miserable and borderline depressed for a very long time. If I wasn't depressed, then I was kind of like going into suicidal thoughts, because I was just that miserable. Like I was just that like sad and just depressed about my life in general. And the fact that like at that time, obviously I wasn't aware that I was like being trained to be well behaved, but like I just knew that this is not who I really am, and I'm just so frustrated because I can't even speak on it. Like people around you won't be able to make space for you, because you initially never really had that space for them, neither did you have it for yourself. So you don't have like that space to actually just be your genuine self. Instead you have to constantly, like, you're trapped into being this masked version of yourself, and you're trapped into this reality of being on survival mode. Like you're constantly on survival mode and you can't switch it off. Like you don't know where the switch is, because like you're just in like this freaking frenzy of like, oh, what's actually going on, what's happening to me, and like why am I so miserable, why is my life going to the dirt, And the fourth point would be that you are only good for your good behavior. So people, when they love you, they love you conditionally, because that's what you also know. Conditional love. You don't actually know what it really means to be loved and what it really means to love as well. So as much as people are loving you conditionally, you also can only love them conditionally. You won't be able to actually fully tap into love and loving someone else completely, because you don't know what that looks like. So the next point is basically what happens in your heart when you are this well-behaved person. You have a lot of malice festers in your heart, because obviously like you can't voice out your opinions and your real feelings, right? You can't voice them out. So when you can't do that, like there's a lot of malice that festers from our hearts that cannot release. And for the longest of times, actually, I was unable to even cry. Like I couldn't even cry about it, because I was just like, I don't understand why I'm even miserable, So as much as I knew that I was miserable and I was depressed, I also, on top of that, shamed myself for it. So I shamed myself for being depressed. I shamed myself for being sad, for being miserable, because there was that voice in my ear that was like, there's nothing for you to be depressed about, there's nothing for you to be sad about, because everything is happy, everything is nuclear happy family, right? And obviously my good behavior comes from my childhood, so it would always be my mother's voice in my head, basically saying that there is nothing that you should be crying about. You should actually be happy. You should actually be like joyous. You should be appreciative. You should be grateful, because you have a roof over your head and you have food in your belly, and you are able to be comfortable. And I guess no one realized that I was rotting from that comfort. It was like a poison. It was a very slow poison. Malice festered in my heart because I was just so angry, and I didn't even know where this anger came from. It was more so rage. It was rage because there was no justice. Like I felt like I could never get it. I knew who the problem was, but at the same time I'm like, there's never gonna come a day where I have someone that's gonna actually speak up for me or on my behalf, because especially if like you're raised in a religious household like I was, it's gonna be extremely difficult for anyone to like speak up for you, because in their minds it's also them keeping up that same appearance, right? Because everyone is keeping it up in the family, so obviously you need to do the same. No one is gonna come to your rescue. No one is actually gonna like speak up and say, no, you're actually wrong. It would be that. And then of course things like jealousy. I was a very jealous person actually, and I only realized this now, like it was only revealed to me now by God. And you know, these things actually, like it's just crazy now that I think about it, because in the time and at that moment, or like as I was growing up, I had no idea. And I would always swear that I would never be jealous of anyone. Like, jealousy is wrong. Like, what do you mean I'm jealous? Like, you can't tell me that, because that is not true. For the longest time I couldn't cry. Just going back to that point, like I couldn't express myself. Basically, I could not express myself. I don't know what expression is, and I'm only learning now at the age of like 26, turning 27 in August, by the way. So buy me a gift, please. Everything about my life has just stunted my growth in such a huge way, and I'm so grateful that like I'm finally able to learn about these things. You know, I guess like with age, you kind of reflect on your life and you're like, there's something that's wrong here. I'm only learning now at the age of 26 to actually express myself and to actually like use my words, right? And to like say what I need to say, of course, not in a confrontational way, or like not in a way where I'm fighting or arguing with someone, but actually just, you know, making space for myself and allowing for myself to actually make space for others in a genuine way. My good behavior was really based from a very narcissistic place, because I was raised by a narcissist. So like I would feel so drained at the end of the day, because I'm keeping up this appearance of innocence. Story time. So back when I was studying
I had this whole thing of like, oh, I don't drink alcohol. And the main reason why I said I don't drink alcohol is because I needed that validation, I needed that attention, and mainly from men, because men would be the ones that were like, oh my gosh, like, oh my gosh, hey.
I would always just be so lethargic, and like I would not have any energy at all. Obviously there are a lot of factors that play a role in you being low on energy, lethargic, like you're literally a sloth, you're lazy. But I would also say that like one thing that would drain my energy would also be the fact that I kept up an appearance. I'd just be so dependent on reciprocation, because I knew that other people were dependent on my reciprocation for them as well. So like also just reciprocation of absolutely everything. So if I would buy you a sweet, I'm expecting that you buy me a sweet the next day. And like obviously it was a no-brainer for me, but like for other people it's not really a no-brainer, because like in their minds they're just thinking, oh, like, oh, you know, you just did something so sweet for me, not necessarily to think, oh, I need to return the favor the next day. And like that's not even something that you should be thinking about either. Do things because you genuinely want to do things for people. You know, you need to be a joyous giver if you do want to be a giver. Do things from a genuine place, do things from an authentic place as well. There's also a verse that I actually attached onto this point, and it is 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 5. There's a section there that says, love does not keep record or score of your wrongs. Okay, so as much as I would expect you to, if I buy you a sweet, you buy me a sweet, it would also be a fact of like, in your wrongdoings, as my friend, as my family member, I would keep score of it, just like how I keep score of everything that I do right, but I did not keep score of my own wrongs. So I would keep score of like everything that you did wrong and everything that I would do right. So yes, I was very dependent on this reciprocation in general, and like you need to show me and prove to me that you are worthy to be trusted by me, you are loyal to me, or like I need you to prove to me that you like me, because it's this whole thing of like you won't be able to love someone else if you don't love yourself. So even for me, like I was so dependent on other people to show me how much they loved me and show me how much they liked me and cared for me, because I did not have that for myself. I didn't like myself, I didn't care for myself enough, and I couldn't speak up for myself. I could not express what I needed to express. You know what I mean? Hopefully the picture is coming together. So the 7th point is that the spirit behind good behavior is very legalistic. I would like to say that the good behavior thing is actually the spirit of religion. So it doesn't necessarily have to only be Christianity, but like, you know, if there's a set law that you need to follow in a religion and you go against that law, then you're shamed for it, right? So that's literally the spirit. To like the minute you, not me, if you go against my law, then I will I would just disregard you. Just keep up that appearance. You need to keep up that appearance, and you need to just be very strict with yourself. There is no grace under the spirit of religion. So you don't have any grace for yourself. You don't know what grace is, in all honesty. Also, one thing about it, I only learned what grace was now in my adulthood, because throughout my whole teenage years, and even as like a young adult, I feel like now I'm like mid-20s going to my 30s, but like, you know, as like, you know, 21, 22, 23, I had no idea what the meaning of grace actually was. Guys, there was a dream that I had last year actually, and in that dream I was just being shown 3 sections of like the possibilities of my life if I go against God, if I go with my parents' teaching, and if I go in his direction. So I was looking on 3 of these places, right? I looked onto my parents' way, my parents' teaching, and my parents' law. And when I saw their law, it terrified me, because I'm like, I cannot go back to this reality. If I go back, one thing about it, like, you will definitely pay with something. I've seen this on Twitter. I'm gonna try and find like that tweet. It was basically saying that like, if you're gonna live at your parents' house, you're gonna pay with something. If you're not paying rent, you're gonna pay with your mental health, you know. So like, honestly, I was just like, hi, in the world and do my own thing. But then now, thank God, like, for God, because he took me away from my own ways, because I was turning into a monster that I hated, right? And no, I don't hate my parents. I'm just saying that I hate what they have become. I hate the spirits that are attached onto them. But when it comes to them as individuals, no, I don't hate them. But like, you know, spiritually, just looking at like the outcome of if I were to continue following them, as I looked upon like that horizon, something just came behind me and it forced me to smile. Like, it literally forced me to smile. And I'm like, yeah, and I was just like, absolutely not, absolutely not. Thank goodness I woke up from that dream, and I was just like, nope, I'm gonna go with your reality, Lord Jesus. Yeah, I don't know whether it's the spirit of shame inviting the spirit of religion, or the spirit of religion inviting the spirit of shame, but or it's just the same spirit, because there is a lot of shame in this whole ordeal of keeping up an appearance and keeping up with like the fake personality, the masked version of yourself, the survival mode. There is a lot of shame. There's a lot of shame of you just feeling like you are inadequate and you are not enough, and anything that you were to present to society that is your true authentic self will not be enough. So yeah, so I had to change locations, guys. Production, what's the 8 points was, it's a narcissistic trait, right? So it's basically like this thing of, I'm always right and you're always gonna be wrong, you know. So like, I have this warped reality of thinking that, okay, everyone needs to actually be abiding to my law of what I feel is right and what I feel is wrong. And like, if you go against that, or if you don't have the same regard, or if you don't have like the same belief, then I'm gonna look down on you. And that's literally also the spirit of religion, like this whole thing of like looking down on people and looking down on just having a bunch of pride in your heart. Honestly, that's just basically what it is. The 9th thing is the fact that they will not like you more. Shame. They will not like you more. They're not going to accept you, neither are they going to be choosing you anytime soon. And to have this type of mentality and to be walked into this reality would make you feel like you constantly need to be chosen, because you are performing, right? You're performing for other people. You're not actually being genuine and authentic. It basically makes you a pick-me. Back in the day, I used to be a feminist. Okay, so this whole thing on like Facebook of feminism, and like, you know, how most women actually look down on pick-me's. I had no idea that I was literally the same thing. Like, I was a pick-me in one way or the other. Going back to like the whole fact of wanting like that attention of, okay, I don't drink, okay, so that whole thing it was pick-me nature. So even now, like, I would definitely say that having like this good behavior and being a well-behaved person would make you want other people to pick you. And it's not only going to be like for male attention, but just everyone just validating you, giving you that attention, giving you that validation, right? You need people's approval. You need for people to show you, or to praise you, actually praise you for your good behavior, praise you for the fact that, oh wow, like, you have such a high moral compass, but like, it's fake, it's not actually real, it's just like this illusion, and it's this front that you put up. And also entitlement. That was basically what I was explaining, like just feeling entitled to be chosen. And because I was so well behaved, how come you did not choose me? Because like from your fake personality you need to be chosen. From your fake personality you need someone to actually choose you and pick you, and you feel entitled. Shouldn't do that, guys. Like, be aware of these things as I speak them. I'm not shaming you guys for anything. Like, I'm not shaming you guys for the fact that you might be, you know, in this as well. The 10th thing would be the nobody syndrome. So this is also just going back to like that whole thing of feeling like you are like this nobody. You feel like you are everyone's shadow in a way. So no one is actually looking and seeing you for who you are, because you're not presenting yourself as who you are either. So it would be this whole thing of like, if I'm interacting with a friend of mine, like it's me and my friend basically having a conversation with another person, and like me now, I go ahead and I see the other person that we were talking about, but I'm alone this time. So that nobody syndrome would see when that other person that we were interacting with, me and my friend were interacting with the other day, I would come around and like see that person, and now I'm alone. Instead of them seeing me still, they would actually be asking about my friend instead of asking about me, you know. And it was more so just a sad thing to know that, like, as I'm like, you know, interacting with my friend, like you feel like your friend is like your shield in a way, and you feel like she's the one that has the guts to present herself as who she is. But then like when it's me alone, it is like a sad reality to face, to know that now that I'm alone, how come that you see my friend when you see me as opposed to seeing me now? Because I didn't make a mark on you. Like, I was just so warped into like my whole reality of I'm well behaved, so I'm not even gonna have opinions about anything. I'm not gonna have any strong opinions because I can't show up as that strong person, you know. Given the fact that God had said he has given you a spirit of power, a spirit of dominion, right? Like, you are to dominate and you are to take authority. And I didn't take authority in anything, right? So like I was literally just there. And most of the time, if you like are like a well-behaved person, you do tend to be shy, you do tend to be like more so to yourself. So people can't necessarily tell whether you're actually shy and you're actually reserved, or you're just well-behaved. And obviously not a lot of people know about this reality. It's more so like you have to go through it to know about it, you know what I mean? So yeah, just not making a mark on anyone, you know, like not making your mark in the world. You know, you're too scared to do that because you feel like you don't have the power or the authority. You can't actually like just show yourself as your genuine, true, authentic self. Instead, I'm just gonna, you know, just chill here in my corner and dim my light. When in the Bible, in the same Bible, God speaks about you needing to shine your light in your corner. So where you are, you need to shine your light, and you shouldn't be afraid to shine your light. Even Christ, he says that we are the light of the world, we are the salt of the world. Like, all of those things need to kind of ring in your mind, especially if you are someone that is in the faith and someone that does believe in Christ and stuff like that. Like, you need to like realize these things. You need to step out of your shell. You shouldn't be afraid to do things that you have always wanted to do, and you shouldn't allow for fear to be the one to hold you back. Neither should you allow for that to be what you eventually regret about life. Like, you don't want to live a life of regret, you know what I mean? This is the second to last point. So it is stunted emotional growth. So if you are well behaved, you generally will have like a stunted growth. This is what I was basically explaining in the beginning. I was explaining this to say, just growing up, like, you would think that as you grow by the years, everything else with you grows. But I really do believe that it is an actual real thing to be stuck in the past and to be stuck somewhere where you were young, and like now you're growing older. You're only growing older by years, but not by wisdom, not by emotional growth. You're literally just growing by your years. Good behavior would be a result of that as well. There are a lot of things that stunt you, right? There are a lot of things that stunt your growth, but I genuinely do also feel like good behavior is a part of those things, because you're so warped in this like reality of, okay, this is my law, this is what I've been taught, right? And like, you can't break off of that. You can't actually break free and just be who you are. And like, once you do start to choose, like once you choose to mature up, that is when you genuinely will also know that, you know, there are certain things about me that scream immaturity. They scream I'm still stuck in the past. They scream I am not the actual adult that I present myself as, or I'm not like this perfectionist that I present myself as. I'm not like my appearance. You know, I've worked so much on my appearance, but I have not been working on anything else in my life, anything else within me. In my heart is still dark, and my heart is still black. You know, like, there's just a lot of things that like help you to grow emotionally, and like one thing about it, if you do want to mature up, I would really suggest that you do that with Christ, because he is the truth. Basically, you would know what to do if you have Christ's leadership. But if you are still wanting to like kind of take situations in your own hands, he will still actually keep on you're gonna run in circles, and more so you're gonna be going sideways looking for the answer. But actually the answer is to go forward in a narrow path too. It's not for you to go sideways. It's not like this big road, it's actually a narrow road. So know that if you're going sideways, you're staying stagnant, and you are on a bigger highway, a highway to self-destruction, to death, period. my last point would be to just be, right? To find strength more so in your truth, and to know that like your vulnerability will never be a weakness, and to know that once you are weak, you will find strength in the Lord, because the Lord will make you strong. It's never going to be something that you deal with alone. It's never going to be something that you face alone, because one thing about it, like throughout these whole, like the past few weeks, it's been such an eye-opening journey for me. And like that's why I keep on writing down like all of these notes and everything that I think, to say it on this camera and to share it with you guys. Hopefully you guys will be able to like also be receptive, of what I have to say. Finding strength in your truth, finding strength in your vulnerability, to know that it's not a weakness, it is a strength, because not a lot of people can actually step into vulnerability, right? And to be vulnerable is to truly show someone your heart. And like once you show someone your heart, it's really like a case of, you don't know what the person is going to say. Like it's either they are gonna be receptive to you or they're going to reject you, and it's not always going to go your way. It's okay, I was vulnerable with you, I was nice to you, I was just myself with you, I was genuine to you, but like I don't understand why you're rejecting me. You're still going to be going back to like that place of entitlement, Gandhi, knowing that like you're under God and you're under his protection and his leadership. He is with you in that moment, because now you are strong, now you are in the Lord, and you are strong, you are in authority, you are in power, and you are in truth. And that is not going to change. Truth will never change or bend at anyone's will, or at anyone's pain, or at anyone's life. Like truth will continue being truth, and you have to adjust your life to the truth, right? So, and practice makes perfect, honestly. The more you show up as yourself, and the more you show up as your genuine and authentic self, is the more you will be able to like live an abundant life, right? You will be able to actually live abundantly. You will eventually find true people, like true to your journey, just like how Christ had disciples. You're gonna find your tribe, you're gonna find the people that are yours, like you're gonna find the people that are meant for you in your journey of life. Eventually, the more you show up as yourself, you're gonna find like your true friends, your true lover, your true spouse. Like you're gonna find the true people and also live a true life. And the minute you live a true life, you're going to live an abundant life. If you do want to become like rich or wealthy, you would actually become wealthy, and that wealth would last generation upon generation upon generation, because you showed up as your true self. And like building your house on a rock, you're building your house on a rock, you're not building it on sand, something that's going to literally start now and like tomorrow it's gone. It's literally been washed over by the waves and by the water. Once you do build your house on a rock, you'll be able to find stability in your life. Yeah, stability, peace, all of these things that are promised to us is like, it's a true thing, and it's something that you can access. You don't have to be stuck under the church's law or society's law, or whoever brought you up, like whoever raised you. You don't have to be under that law. You can genuinely just be yourself and say, no, I deserve better and I want better for myself, and this is what I'm going to do to get that better thing, period. If you are like on that journey, or if you want to go in that journey of healing, you would be able to do that, and to just remember to give yourself grace as you be. So like whether it is good behavior or bad behavior that you are bringing to the world as your genuine and authentic self, let it be from a genuine place, of course. Let it be from a place of truth. Let it be from your core and not from here, this fleeting place. Let it be from your guts, okay? And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So thank you guys so much for giving me your ear and your time, and thank you so much for tuning in today. Stay blessed and stay genuine, stay true to who you are, and continue being your true and authentic self. Please do comment, like, and subscribe. If you want to share this video. I will see you guys later. Bye.